All right, let's just jump right in. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack a truly powerful story that gets right to the heart of, well, a pretty universal human struggle. It's the story of dreaming incredibly big, but doing absolutely nothing about it. We're going to examine a fascinating piece of source material that basically holds a mirror up to our daily habits. It asks us to look really closely at that massive gap between what we want out of life and what we're actually willing to do to get it. So get comfortable and let's explore this wake-up call together.
So, let me ask you something, and I want you to be brutally honest with yourself here. Have you ever wanted success but found yourself saying, I'll just start tomorrow? You know the feeling, right? You have that intense desire to achieve something huge. You can perfectly imagine this amazing, better life, but the very second it's time to actually do the work, you just hit snooze. You delay. If you've ever felt that frustrating friction of being super ambitious but kind of lazy, well, you are definitely not alone. And the narrative we're digging into today is tailored exactly for you. Honestly, it might just change how you view your daily choices forever.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the ambitious but lazy, or dreaming big, doing little.
To really get a grip on this dynamic, our source introduces us to a guy named Amir. Now, Amir lived in this beautiful, lush village, and at just 25 years old, he was strong, healthy, and completely bursting with these grand visions for his future. He absolutely loved to boast to his friends. He'd stand there, puff out his chest, and confidently tell them, one day I am going to be the richest farmer in this entire village. My field will shine golden with crops, people will come from all over just to seek my advice, and I'll be respected everywhere. And the funny thing is, the village actually admired his ambition. But beneath all that bold talk, there was a massive, glaring problem. Amir had basically perfected the anatomy of laziness through these endless delaying tactics. I mean, when the sun rose and the other farmers were already marching out to work the soil, Amir was still snoozing in bed. When the village men were out sweating under the hot afternoon sun, Amir was just sitting comfortably in the shade, talking endlessly about those big dreams of his. When the women carried heavy water from the well, his go-to response was always, "Oh, I'll do it later." Does any of this sound familiar? Having these towering, massive plans, but actively running away from the hard, unglamorous work required to actually build them? Amir loved to imagine success, but he completely despised the effort it demanded.
Moving right along to Section 2, the two magic seeds and the uncle's ultimatum.
So, one evening, Amir's incredibly wise uncle drops by the empty field and decides it's time to teach him a lesson. The land is rich, the soil is super fertile, but absolutely nothing is growing. The uncle asks Amir, "Why is the land bare when all you ever talk about are golden crops?" Amir just kind of laughs it off, giving his favorite excuse. "Oh, don't worry, uncle, I'll start tomorrow." But the old man had heard tomorrow way too many times. He hands Amir two magic seeds. The first is the ambition seed. The uncle explains that this one requires daily water and nonstop care. But if you put in that effort, it yields incredible fruit, shade, and true wealth. Now, the second seed is the laziness seed. And the rule for this one is totally different. It grows incredibly fast, completely on autopilot, but it spreads toxic weeds across the land and literally destroys absolutely everything else. The uncle looks Amir dead in the eye and tells him the entire future of his life depends on which seed he chooses to care for.
Which brings us to Section 3, the cost of tomorrow and the danger of later. So, what does Amir do? He looks at the seeds and, of course, chooses to plant them tomorrow. Days turn into weeks, and out of sheer boredom and a total lack of direction, he just casually tosses both seeds into the dirt. He figured, hey, I can always take care of them later. You see, for Amir, tomorrow wasn't an actual day of the week. It was this magical, imaginary fantasy land where he promised he'd magically transform into a hard worker. Meanwhile, back in actual reality, he spent his present days sleeping, gossiping, and daydreaming. He completely forgot about the seeds for weeks, happily falling right into the trap of letting tomorrow handle all his responsibilities.
Well, fast forward a bit, and Amir finally wanders out to his field, and wow, the shock. The laziness seed had completely exploded. It grew terrifyingly fast. These thick, nasty weeds covered the soil, spreading relentlessly and literally choking the life out of the land. And that ambition seed, it was weak, tiny, and right on the brink of death because it had gotten zero water and zero care. Amir's beautiful golden dream was rapidly turning into a suffocating nightmare. His uncle comes back, takes one look at this devastating damage, and hits him with this profound realization. Amir, look at your land. This is your life. Ambition is like a small seed. It needs care, effort, and daily action. Without work, it dies.
But laziness grows on its own. It spreads fast and destroys everything in its path. The uncle just looked at him with such sorrow and delivered the hardest truth. My son, you wanted to be great, but your laziness has already stolen your future.
All right, Section 4, the painful awakening and fighting the weeds. Hearing his uncle say that was rock bottom for Amir. He literally dropped to his knees in the dirt, reached out to touch that dying ambition seed, and just started crying. In that painful, incredibly grounding moment, he finally woke up to the cold truth. Dreams are not enough. Never have been. Only action keeps them alive. So he had to take some brutal steps to get his life back. Step 1. He started waking up before the sun even rose. No more sleeping in. None. Step 2. He began pulling out those thick, stubborn weeds by hand. And the source makes it clear this was agonizing work. His back ached, his hands were actually bleeding, but he refused to stop. And step 3. He watered that ambition seed every single day. He traded his comfortable, shady spot and his endless gossip for relentless, grueling, daily discipline.
And the reward for all that daily grind? Well, slowly but surely, that tiny, dying seed grew into a strong plant. Over the years, it blossomed into this great, towering tree that provided fruits, shade, and real wealth. But honestly, the most important part? Amir's entire identity transformed. He wasn't the town dreamer who slept all day anymore. He became widely respected and known throughout the whole village as the farmer who actually went to war with his own laziness and won.
And that leads us perfectly into our final part. Section 5. Which seed will you grow? The choice is yours.
Because let's be real, as the original source beautifully points out, this isn't really a story about farming. Amir's story is a direct, incredibly powerful allegory for every single person's life. Here is the absolute law of your mind. Every single one of us holds these two exact seeds inside. We have ambition and we have laziness. Your ambition is only going to grow if you actively feed it every single day with effort, with discipline, and with concrete action. If you don't, it just dies. But your laziness, that requires zero effort. It grows entirely by itself on autopilot, and if you let it run wild, it will absolutely suffocate and destroy your dreams. So the ultimate takeaway here is simple. Do not wait for tomorrow. The longer you wait, the more your dream dies. You have to start today. You've got to get your hands dirty and pull out those weeds of laziness before they take over your entire field.
Which leaves us with one final lingering thought to chew on. What are you going to do with your own field today? I mean, the seeds are right there in your hands right now. Are you going to keep telling yourself you'll just start tomorrow? Or are you going to start watering your ambition today? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this helps you cultivate exactly what you want out of life.